Hello everyone and Merry Christmas. It is Christmas Eve, and so I'm trying to, get everything wrapped up here on my cooking. And today I am making a coconut cake. So let's turn right around here to our counter, and I already have ingredients here in my mixer. And this is, I am making a 1, 2, 3, 4 cake recipe for my cake layers, okay? So that's what I've got in here. So I have 1 cup of butter, I've got 2 cups of sugar, and I have 3 cups of self-rising flour with a ½ teaspoon of baking powder in there. And then I have 4 eggs. So that's your 1, 2, 3, 4 cake. And we'll have to add milk. And I've also got 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, pure vanilla extract. So I'm going to turn this on and I'm going to let this start mixing. And then I want to talk to you just a few minutes about something really important while this is mixing up. So I'll try to talk loud enough that you can hear me over the mixer, okay? All right, now, what I want to talk to you about is I am trying to make my Granny Cochran's coconut cake. That's what I'm trying to do today. Now, the reason I say that I am trying to make that cake is because I never got my Granny Cochran's coconut cake recipe from her before she died. And then my Aunt Dixie, which is Granny's daughter, she died and I never got it from her. So I don't have Granny Cochran's coconut cake recipe. So what I'm having to do today is just go on the knowledge that I have of Granny's cooking and the recipes, her cake recipes that I do have. I'm going to have to go on all of that and try to put together what I think was Granny Cochran's coconut cake. Now, I wanted to tell y'all, if you have family recipes that have been handed down, from great-grandmother, grandparents, parents, handed down to you, you want to hand them down to your children, don't let those recipes die when your grandparents or your parents die. Don't let those recipes die. Be sure and get those recipes from your relatives while they're still alive, okay? Because this is a recipe, and this kind of hurts my heart to realize it. This is a recipe that died with my granny and died with my Aunt Dixie. So I'm going to put together, like I said, what I think was probably Granny's coconut cake recipe. But you know what? I'll never know for sure. So, here's what I'm going to do. Now, I know that a coconut cake, the layers, the cake layers, is supposed to be made with a white cake recipe. Okay? I know that. But I also know that I never remember or heard talked about Granny having a white cake recipe. Okay? So, I'm going to have to assume that she used the 1, 2, 3, 4 cake recipe, because I know that is the recipe that she used for her other cakes, was a 1, 2, 3, 4 cake recipe. So I'm assuming that's how she made her cake layers. So that's what I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to make my cake layers. Also, I know that a coconut cake recipe, is supposed to have a 7-minute frosting. Now, I'm very happy to say that I do have Granny's 7-minute frosting recipe. Woo! I'm so happy about that. So, I can make her 7-minute frosting. That'll be what I put on my cake layers. And then you cover the frosting with shredded sweetened coconut. So that's what I'm going to put together today. I'm going to think about my granny and my Aunt Dixie and just have good memories of them. And the times that we went to Granny's house for Thanksgiving and Christmas. And while I'm making this cake, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, let's turn around here. Okay, and what I did was I just put all of those ingredients in there together. Like I said, butter, sugar, eggs, and vanilla. I put it all in there together. I'm going to go ahead and turn that on up. And I'm going to let that just beat until it's nice and fluffy. Okay, I've got the batter mixed up nice and smooth. Now, we want to add milk. And I have 1 1/3 cup of milk. I'm going to add that in. And then I have the 3 cups of self-rising flour with a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, okay? And that's going to be what goes in next. And I'm not sure that I can just put it in there while this beater is going without it throwing flour everywhere. So let's just go ahead and get this over in here. And it's going to probably still throw some flour everywhere. But, you know, that's okay. We can clean it up. Now I have my oven is heating up, okay? I have it on 350 degrees bake, and I have my rack in the middle so that it can cook evenly from top and bottom, okay? Now, let's see if we throw flour everywhere. Woo, we didn't do it. All right. All right, we need to clean the sides of our mixing bowl and reach down in there and stir the bottom. Make sure we're getting everything mixed up good here. We'll mix this a little bit more, and then we'll be ready to put it in the pans and slide it in the oven. All right, we've got our batter mixed up good. Let's just get this paddle out of here. Get this off of here. Push this mixer back out of the way. All right, now I've got 3 cake pans right here. I've already sprayed 2 of them. I'll spray the 3rd one with Baker's Joy, and this is a cooking spray that has flour in it. So I think it's a little better as far as getting the cakes to release out of the pan because of that flour. Now, this recipe, this cake recipe, is enough batter Let me scoot this stuff down where y'all can see what I'm doing. This is enough batter to make 3 thick layers or 4 thinner layers. That's what you can do with this batter here. Now, I think that I am just going to use 2 layers for this coconut cake. So I'm going to pour enough batter in 2 of these pans for my 2 layers, and then the rest I'll just pour in the 3rd pan and cook that, and I'll do something else with that. I'll put some other kind of frosting or something on it. And see, this is another thing. I don't know if Granny made a 3-layer coconut cake, or if she made a 2-layer coconut cake. I don't really know. I know that her 7-minute frosting, the recipe that I have for that, I have that with her devil food cake recipe, and it is a 2-layer cake. So I figure I should just make 2 layers because I know that that will be enough. I'll have enough frosting for 2 layers. I don't know if I'll have enough frosting for 3. Okay, let me add a little bit more right here. Trying to get these, okay, there ain't gonna be a whole lot of batter left. I may not have really enough batter to really do anything with. Yeah, I'm going to about use all the batter right here, so I may actually have 2 pretty thick layers right here. But that's okay. So we'll see how this turns out. Okay, yeah, I don't have enough left for this 3rd pan, so we're just going to go with this. All right, into the oven we go. All right, we're going to let this cook until they're done, and we will test them to see if they're done. You can kind of pat the top of them. They'll spring back up. They're done. If it kind of depresses and leaves your fingerprints in there and doesn't spring back up, it's not done. Or you can get a toothpick, or you can get a skewer and stick in it. If it comes out clean, they're done. So we'll test them here in just a little bit. Okay, y'all, our cake layers are done. Got a skewer here. Comes out clean. All right. Throw that in the trash. And I'm going to flip these out on paper towels that I have doubled right here. You can flip them out on a rack if you want to, and I have done that before, but I like actually flipping them out on the paper towels. And I might better run a knife around the sides because that cake layer tore up just a little bit on the sides. So let me run this knife around here, loosen it up. Surprised that it kind of stuck some like this on the sides, but it did. Okay, now let me turn this one out. I like to turn mine out on, ooh, that one really, I kind of tore that one up on the sides with the knife. Okay, so for some reason that wanted to stick. Not really sure why, but it is nothing that frosting will not conceal. So that's good. So I'm going to let the layers cool, and we'll start on 7-minute frosting here in a little bit. And what I was telling you about flipping my cake layers out on a cooling rack, seems like my layers have a tendency to just stick to the cooling rack, and then I'm having to try to peel them up off of that rack and stuff. Maybe some of y'all know something I don't. Do you need to spray those cooling racks with some kind of spray or something? If y'all know what I'm doing there that's causing my cake layers to stick to the cooling rack, let me know. All right, y'all, we are ready to make the 7-minute frosting to go on the coconut cake. So I have this boiler here. I've got water boiling in it, and then I have the top of my double boiler right here. I've got 1.5 cups of sugar. I've got 2 egg whites. I have 1 tablespoon of Karo syrup, and I have 1/3 cup of water. And I'm going to set this over the boiling water, and we're going to turn the mixer on, and we're going to mix these ingredients. And it's supposed to take about 7 minutes, but we're going to mix it until we have some good stiff peaks. And that is your 7-minute frosting. Now, this is my Granny Cochran's recipe, and this is the best recipe I have ever found. And I know that sounds partial to Granny, but anyway, something she does is she adds 3 tablespoons of marshmallow cream. So when the frosting begins to form just soft peaks, I'm going to add my marshmallow cream, go ahead and whip it, beat it until it makes stiff peaks. And at that point in time, I will add 1 teaspoon of vanilla and mix that in, and then our frosting is ready. Now I'm going to actually turn my beaters on and just beat this up just a little bit, just to stir it up just a little bit before I put it over that hot water. And the reason is because I have raw egg whites in this pot, and I don't want to just set my pot over that hot water and cook those egg whites, because I'll have cooked eggs instead of frosting. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of mix that up a little bit before I put it over the hot water. Okay, y'all, we got stiff peaks. Let's get this off of here. Let's add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We'll mix that in, and then we'll be ready to ice this cake. All right, y'all, that has got our frosting made. See, if y'all was here with me, I'd let you lick the beaters, but just gonna have to lick them myself. Okay, let's move over to the counter. All right, I've already got one of my cake layers up here. Let me show y'all a little something. I don't know if you can see it or not, but the middle of my cake layers is kind of depressed a little bit. And the reason that that happened is because I beat my cake batter too long. I beat too much air up in it, and then when I was cooking it, the middle just kind of fell and depressed a little bit. So I just thought, you know, this is a learning opportunity to let you know you have to be careful how long you beat your cake batter, or you'll have too much air in them. But it's still, I mean, it's okay. It'll be fine, but I just wanted to show that to you so you would see that. Okay, here's my knife that I like to use to spread icing. So let's start working on this. All right, we've got a nice layer on there. Now, I want to add my coconut now. Let's sprinkle this with coconut. As much or as little as you like. Just totally up to you. All right, now we're ready for layer number 2. And let me see if I can get it up here without tearing it totally apart. Let's see if I can get it in place. Woohoo, I did it. Very good. All right, now let's ice the top of this and the sides. Okay, y'all, I've got the cake iced and I've almost got the coconut on it, and I was just going to turn the video on and let y'all see how I'm getting the coconut on the sides. And I'm not sure y'all gonna really be able to see because I'm left-handed, and so I'm having to kind of do it away from the camera. But what I'm doing is, see, I've got this cocoa in my hand. No, wait, I got it in the wrong hand. Okay, so I've got it in this hand. And what I'm doing is I'm cupping my hand like this and dropping the cocoa, and I'm just patting it into the sides. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm not sure you're gonna really be able to see me doing it. See, I'm just patting it with my hand like that. And it kind of makes a little bit of a mess. You can probably see I've dropped some on the bar, but that's okay. That's just part of the process. Spreading it around here on the bottom. And just put this on as thick or as thin as you want it to be. It is totally up to you. Y'all, this is the first coconut cake I've ever in my life made. In all my born days. Let's take a look.
And that's pretty impressive since you love coconut cake.
Yeah, that is true. I do really like coconut cake, don't I?
When we go to the Iron Skillet, she always gets coconut cake.
I do. That's because none of their other desserts are as good as that. Coconut cake, to me, is their best dessert that they have there. So that's the reason I get that. Okay, that has got that. Now, just kind of clean up the edge of this just a little bit. I've got to wash my hands off. And then I'm going to bring that cake up close, y'all, where you can see it.
Too bad they can't see it in real life because it is gorgeous.
All right, that is the cake, y'all. I'm gonna cut this booger. I ain't gonna wait until Christmas. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna eat me some.